Morning, Gareth. How are you?
I am very well. You've been on fire for us throughout the Sydney Autumn Carnival, the final day basically, with the two Group 1s at Randwick on Saturday with the All Age, which I love. Is one of my favourite races over the 1400 metres because you get some of the best sprinters meeting some of the best middle distance horses, and they come together over the 7 furlongs, and then of course the champagne for the 2-year-olds. We'll start with the all-aged here, and the Bet365 market has Zaki at $5.50, Lost and Running at $17, Private Eye at $8.50, Cascadian 11, Marzoos had some backing at $8, Ho Ho Amazon's at a big price at $17, and then you go down to the 3-year-olds, Jackano at $8 and Giga Kick at $3. How do you assess this fascinating all-age stakes in 2023, Dean?
Yeah, you're right. It is a fascinating race, and you get sort of a whole range of different form lines. Had some great horses win it. Atlantic Jewel, All Too Hard, English Trapeze Artist, Pierati, Tofano and Cascadian last year. Interestingly, the TJ Smith has produced the winner of 5 of the past 7 years. But the last 2 years, the winner's come out of a different race. Just another interesting fact from the last 11 years, Barriers 1 to 7 have produced 10 of the 11 winners, with only one drawing wider than 7. Apart from that, often a wide range of form lines that come out, although 8 of the 11 winners have come out of a race 2 weeks prior. Plenty of speed here, Gareth. Electric Girl, Zaki, and Ho Amazon, the Japanese horse, all sort of like the lead. So there's going to be a fair bit of speed, I think, here early. The likes of Bandersnatch, Marzu, and Lost Running, they'll be sort of pushing forward of midfield behind that hot tempo. Then you got sort of Rockin' Horse, Giga Kick won't be too far back, and then the likes of sort of Jackano, Private Eye, and Cascadian, as we know, who will sort of be those swoopers from the rear. Quite a few interesting form lines here. I think Marzu, they're doing good 10,000 winners, around third in the Everest and then third in the TJ Smith. This is his first try over 1,400, but he maps very nicely here to sort of sit about fifth off the hot speed, and I think he's going to be a strong chance. Cascadian won this race last year, coming off a prep that included the Australian Cup, the All-Star Mile, and the Doncaster. But he wasn't going anywhere near as well last year when he won this race as he is this year. Last year he sort of ran fifth in the All-Star Mile. This prep he ran second to Mr. Brightside, and then he ran fifth in the Australian Cup last prep, and he won the Australian Cup last start and a strong finish. And I think that 3-week break back to 1,400 metres could suit in an interesting race with a lot of speed, and where the likes of Marzu, who I do like, and Giga Kick. Obviously, the Everest winner ran second. The TJ Smith is on trial at 1,400. I think Cascading is a very strong chance. And the other that I think has to be included at big odds is the horse that you mentioned, the Japanese horse, Amazon, a Group 3 winner, a multiple Group 2 place getter in Japan over sort of the 1,400 to a mile. I was sort of looking back to a horse, Hannah's Goal, a Japanese horse who won this race in 2014. And this Amazon is very, very similar ratings. He's trained by Yoshida Yahagi. We know, he's won a Cox Plate with Ligue Rocher. He's a great trainer. And I thought just that horse up on the pace is going to be quite well advantaged with a decent draw. And interestingly, his normal Japanese jockeys even made the trip over to ride him. So, interesting race. I think Giga Kick's a chance, but he's going to get a long way back. He's drawn very wide. It's his first run over 1,400. I just think at the $3, he's more of a saver bet, and I'll be betting around him, so I'm quite keen to bet it at some quite nice prices around Marzu, Cascadian, and Ho Amazon.
So Ho Amazon's around $17, Marzu $8 with Bet365, and you can get $11 and $3.25 each way for Cascadian. So what are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. So Dean Evans with some value there in the all-age stakes. What about the champagne? You got Don Corleone with James McDonald jumping back aboard at $3.80 with Bet365. Militarise at $1.85. Emerge, James Cummings told us yesterday that he wasn't happy with that galloper, so it's scratched. But the stablemate Tom Kitten that was devastating there last week on the quick backups at $11. Bases loaded at $16. Had a chat to Henry Field, and he said that there's no doubt that Militarise is definitely the horse to beat, but bases loaded is a good each-way chance. He's got plenty of ability, Henry said. And he says that Make a Call's also a pretty good horse at a price at $23. And then we go down to Peer Pressure at $13 here in the Champagne. How do you read this race, Dean?
Yeah, look, interesting race. The SARS produce is always a key lead up for this. 9 of the last 11 winners have come out of the SARS produce. Interestingly, all 11 winners in the last 11 years have ever had an SP under $9.50, so sort of single-figure SP. That is a race that the punters often hone on now and get right. And 10 of the 11 winners have been barriers 1 to 6, so the tough sort of first time for the mile for these 2-year-olds. You generally want a decent draw to be able to get a decent run and run out a strong mile. Just an average speed here. Bases loaded, Kintyre and Townsend, the pace setters, but there's not a whole heap of speed, and the likes of the Don Corleone and Tannhauser might be forward of midfield. I do think Don Corleone, is a strong chance here. Militarized is sort of odds on, won very well on that very heavy track last start, but it gets a bit dry here. I just thought Don Corleone has finished very strongly the second at Blue Diamond. He was solid fourth in the Slipper, and again finished home strongly the second in Militarized. I thought there was, on that SARS produce day, a bit of an advantage to be sort of on the fence, and then most winners came along the fence. Militarized got that fence run, but Don Corleone was actually sort of sitting one off the fence, and they had to hook wide in the straight. I think the mile's really going to suit him, and I think for the first time in a while he's going to be able to settle probably about fourth or fifth here, Gareth, and so I quite like Don Corleone to knock over Militarized. Tom Kitten's an interesting runner. They ran really slowly early on in the Fernhill Stakes. But he just routed wings coming from last when he ran plus 6.5 the last 800 metres. That was the fourth quickest of all runners on the day. And that was, a major Group 1 championships day. He actually ran home faster than pretty much every horse in the Queen Elizabeth apart from, Dubai Honour and Malunga. So Tompkins got a lot of ability, and I think if there's a ball over sort of $11, $12, he's a really strong chance of winning. Bases loaded, who you mentioned, just went way too quick in the SARS produce. They sort of ran +7 for the first half of the race. So he's going to get a much softer lead here, bases loaded. And I think that does mean he can run a really big race. And I haven't thought Tannhauser, who was fourth in the Fernhill last week, that was only his third start. And the second start was a bit of a non-event. So he's sort of the one who's drawing the ace and could really improve. So in terms of quaddie picks and your exotics, there's some good value around bases loaded and Tannhauser, but I'm quite keen to back Don Corleone, and I do think Tom Kitten is going to run a big race as well.
So that's interesting. Most of the form experts that we've had a chat to this week say Militarized is a good thing. He's into $1.85 now with Bet365. So you've been pretty good, Dino, taking on these favourites throughout the carnival. So that is fascinating to hear. And Don Corleone with Bet365 currently at $3.80. Today's wagering update brought to you by Bet365, the world's favourite online betting brand. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Now, is it okay if I ask you about the Quokka, Dino? Have you had a look at it? Because it's an interesting race with some of the stars of the sprinting race doing battle across there in the West. Our horse representing SEN is Kementari. He's into $23, but I still think he's a big price first up with D. Oliver to ride. Overpass has been gelded. He's at $13. The Railway Champ Tricks of the Trade with the blinkers on first up. Over the 1,200 metres, this prep at $17. Uncommon James out to $6. He's been easy. Western Knight at $51. Been a little bit of a tip around for him despite the big price. Bella Nipotina has been the best backed in the last 48 hours at $4. And then Amelia's Jewel from the car park at $3. What do you think of the Quokka?
Yeah, look, fascinating race. Obviously, it's the first edition of this, $4 million, enormous prize money out there in the West, and great to see them have a race of that sort of quality. Look, I'm a big Amelia's Jewel fan. Members of my trial supply service know we've sort of been backing the horse since its first ever start. We identified, we've actually her to win futures in the Karrakatta Plate. We've actually backed her 6 times for 6 wins. She's just an absolute superstar. Obviously, a bit of controversy around the draw. She's ended up drawing the outside gate, but she was really devastating in the Roma Cup first up. All of her sectionals were just outstanding. She's usually the fastest home for the last sort of 200, 400, 600, 800 metres in every race that she runs in. So she's just an absolute superstar, Amelia's Jewel, and I'm finding it hard to bet around her. I think she's going to get back anyway. There's quite a lot of speed here. You've got the likes of Red Can Man, Mossimo, Aquaman Chula, overpass, S4. There's a lot of speed here, shades of rose. We've got mapping 7th despite usually leading. So, there's just a heap of speed, and I think it's really going to suit Amelia's Jewel. And I think she's going to be really hard to beat, swooping over the top of them. I've always been a huge fan of Bella Nipotina. I think I've tipped her on your show quite a few times at nice prices to win big races. But the thing with Bella Nipotina is that she is, she likes to cut out of the ground. And so, I'm really it's going to be a close watch on that Ascot track. But if it's a rock hard sort of Ascot track, then I think Bella Nipotina's unders actually, just in the sense that on a really rock hard track, I've got my concerns with her. There's other handy horses, Uncommon James, as for these sort of sprinters we know from Melbourne that are handy, but I'm struggling to find anything really that I want to bet on apart from Amelia's Jewel. I think the speed will suit. She's been trained for this. She's just a superstar filly. I can't wait for her to come, over east and start running at the Spring Carnival because she's just a superstar and I can't back anything else.
We'll have a chat to Pete Anthony a little later on in this hour. He's in Perth just to check what's happening with the weather. But looking at Rise, it's still on a good track, so they probably didn't get the rain that they were expecting yesterday. So it does surprise me still a little bit that Bella Nipotina is still that short on a good track, but that might change. There's rain expected today as well, Dino. So we'll see how good she is, from outside that gate, or from the outside gate, Amelia's Jewel in the Quokka come tomorrow afternoon. But it is going to be a great race, mate, and hopefully it's another fill-up for the Dean Evans followers, mate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, we've had a very, very enjoyable past few weeks over the championships, and hopefully we can finish with a bang.
And for the SEN track listeners and the family here, just head to Winning Edge Investments and to the website, head to the membership page, click on subscriptions, you type in SEN, and you get a lifetime 50% discount. And that is the best winner that you can back all weekend, mate. So terrific deal for our listeners with Winning Edge Investments, and we appreciate your work today as always, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Gareth. Some of your listeners have been joining up.
Loving
it. It's been great to hear from them and their feedback. So it's been brilliant and great to talk with you. And hopefully we can load up with a few more to close off the championships.
You're a good man. Thanks for that, mate.
Cheers, Gareth. Thanks, mate.
He's a jet. There's Dean Evans from Winning Edge Investments. Let's take a break and we'll come back with plenty more straight after this.
Hi, it's Nick Strauss from Berwick Motor Group, Melbourne's go-to destination for exceptional vehicles for over 25 years. We've got opportunities across GWM Haval, Jeep, Kia, SsangYong and Nissan, and over 100 used cars in stock. Visit Berwick Motor Group, open Monday to Saturday. Best wishes, Nick Strauss.